Okay, so today we're making string bracelets. I'm gonna do 4 videos showing each style. So this first one that we're gonna do is just the standard string bracelet. And then we're gonna do a braided bracelet, which is really fun and cute. Another style is this one with a connecting charm in the middle. And then you can do bracelets with words or phrases on them. So to begin with, let's go over the list of supplies that you're gonna need. You're gonna need wax string. So this is 1mm wax string, and you can get it in large quantities with all the different colors, and I will link where I got mine below. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, and you're gonna need a lighter. You could use a candle. I prefer a lighter. And then tape. Tape is handy, especially for the braided bracelets. So now some of the accessories you could get little charms to go on them. This is a fun pack. It has lots and lots of different charms. You could get these little connecting charms. So they come in a pack like this, and there's all different shapes: circles, triangles, squares, hearts, and stars. So you can get those. You can get a pack of these beads. You can spell any phrase or word that you would like. Okay, and lastly, you can print off this free printable. It will be on my website. I will link all of this in the description. But it has the instructions, and it has these measurements on here for the different sizes, which we did this for girls camp, and that was really handy to have the measurements right on the paper. Then we didn't have to worry about having rulers and all that. Okay, so let's get started with the standard string bracelet. And you're going to need 9 strands of string that are 6 inches long. And I like to do 3 of each color, but you can do whatever you'd like. So to begin with, oh, and also we're going to need 3 strands that are 9 inches long. So you're gonna want to do, these are for the ties right here and for this closure. So you're gonna wanna do 2 of one color and 1 of another color. So to begin with, I just take the strings and I just line them up, gather them all together, and line up the edges. So this doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to trim, but just line up all your 6-inch strings. Okay, so we've got all those lined up. Now we're going to take our end tie string and we're going to tie it around. So it can be handy to have a friend around to help you hold or tie, because it can be kind of tricky to do by yourself, but it's doable. So you're just going to tie it around and pull it as tight as possible. Then you're going to flip it to the back side and you'll do a double knot. Just like that. There. And then we're going to trim this so that all the ends are even. So make sure that all of the other strings, your ties and your main strings, are all down out of the way so you don't accidentally clip them. And then we're going to trim. I just kind of take the lowest, like this lowest string right here, and just try to cut them all to that size. And then we're going to take our lighter and we're going to melt. So just hold the string close to the flame and it will begin melting. And then you can kind of use your fingers to smash them all together. So you want to try to avoid them catching on fire because it kind of singes the string and leaves kind of a dark discoloration. So it doesn't look as pretty. So just melt it until all of the strands are stuck together. And so then at this point, we're gonna take our strings, get these ties out of the way, and then we're gonna just line up all of these other strings and we'll tie the other end. So I just like to make sure they're all kind of straight and not overlapping each other very much, just so that, just so it lays nicer. So we'll just take our other tie string, and it's kind of easier if you don't have help to just kind of start your knot and then you can kind of put it on. I'm sure this looks really awkward doing it with one hand, but okay. And then we'll just flip it over and we will knot the other side. Just do a double knot on the other side of that. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing where we trim and melt the edges. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to twist up these ends. So to do that, you're going to take each string and you're going to twist it tighter in the direction that it's already twisting. So if you can see on this one's much tighter than this one. If you're twisting it the wrong way, it will begin to unravel. But if you twist it so it's tighter, that's what we want to do. So do that with both strings. Then you're going to hold them up and then you let the bracelet hang and then it twists around itself. And then we'll tie a little knot just like that. And then we will clip and melt these. Just like we did with the other, but there's only 2 strands, so it's a little quicker. Okay, and then we'll just repeat the exact same thing on this side. So just twist in the same way that it's starting to twist. And just make the twist tighter. Then you hold both of those strings and then you let go of the bracelet and then it will twist around itself. And we'll just knot it. And clip it and melt it. And try not to let it catch on fire because that's what it does. It just kind of turns kind of just ashy. So just if you have enough, you can just trim that off and try again. And if you don't, then it's really okay. It just doesn't look as pretty. But the reason you melt it is so that these strings don't unravel as you wear it. Okay, so lastly, we just need to make our little closure on the bracelet. So you're just going to take your bracelet and line it up like this, and you're going to put your last remaining 9-inch string around both of them and tie a knot. So I opted to make the string a little longer. It's probably 11 or 12 inches. And you can do this too if you just want a little bit more room to work with. The reason I'm doing that is just because my fingers get in the way and they're gonna still get in the way, but this just makes it a little easier to show you what I'm doing when the string is a little bit longer. Okay, so after you have your knot, you're gonna take the left side and you're going to lay it over the bracelet, just like that. Then you're gonna take the right side and it needs to go over this string, then underneath the bracelet and up through this hole right here. Then you just pull both ends snug and just slide it up towards that first knot. Okay, so then we'll do the same thing but opposite. So we'll start with the right side and we'll lay it over top of the bracelet. Then we'll take the left side, and it needs to go over this string, but then underneath the bracelet and up through this hole. And then you just pull both ends until it's snug. Now you don't want to get it too tight because that will make it hard to adjust, but you do want it tight enough so that it's not coming loose on your wrist all the time. So I'm just going to keep repeating this, alternating which side that I start the loop on every time. And you're going to want to do about 6 to 8 knots. And I like to do 8 just because it gives you plenty of room. If it ever comes unraveled for some reason, you have a little bit of extra room to fix it. So just over, then you take this side, come over the string, under the bracelet, and up through the hole and pull it tight. So sometimes it's easier as you get to the end to hold the bracelet up as you're doing it. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is just trim and melt these long strings. So I cut it about 1/8 of an inch, and then we'll just melt the string. Try not to let it catch fire like that. Well, I'm kind of struggling, but what you want to do is melt it enough so that it will smash down into the bracelet, and then it won't unravel. So just kind of smash it down in, and then you have your bracelet, and it's adjustable. You can make it smaller, or you can make it larger to fit your wrist. So next up, we'll do the braided bracelet.